10.4 graphs of quadratic functions. It's MA912AR 3.7 and 3.8 and MA912F 1.2. So we're going to determine the vertices of parabolas and sketch parabolas. We're going to write an equation of a parabola given the vertex and a point on the graph. We're going to analyze quadratic functions, and we're going to use parabolas to solve application problems. So graphs of quadratic functions. So normally in standard form it says f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where a does not equal 0. If the graph opens up, the a has to be positive. The graph opens down, the a has to be negative. So it's always dependent on the a position. So standard form or vertex form that we know is as f of x equals a parentheses x minus h closed squared plus k, where h comma k, think of x and y, is the vertex, which could be the highest point or lowest point of your parabola. So in example 1, it says find the vertex by completing the square. So we want to complete the square in this situation. So first thing, think of f of x as y, so I'm going to rewrite it as y equals x squared minus 6x plus 5. I'm going to subtract 5 over, so I get y minus 5 plus a blank equals x squared minus 6x plus a blank, because remember we're completing the square. So you're going to do 6 divided by 2 and you get -3, which you're squaring. So we are going to add a 9 to the right, which means we're adding a 9 to the left. Remember, we are always balanced. So now we become y, -5 plus 9 is +4 equals x minus 3 squared. And then subtract the 4 over. So we get y equals x minus 3 squared minus a 4. So remember, we're in the form of hk. Remember, the value of a here is a 1. We just see it, it's implied. So h is the inside. So think of setting this equal to 0. So x is equal to a 3. This is your y. So y is equal to -4. So our h is the x. Our k is the y. So our vertex is 3, -4. In example 2, finding the vertex using a formula. So there is a formula called the Vertex Formula, which x is equal to -b over 2a, which allows us to figure out the vertex. So first thing, we identified our a is a 3 and the b is a -9. So if we're using the vertex formula, x equals negative of -9 over 2 times our 3. So we have +9 over 6, which reduces to 3 over 2. But that only gives us our x. We need to find our y also. So our y, take your equation and plug in 3/2 in for it. So 3 times 3/2 squared minus 9 times 3/2. So we have 3 times 9 over 4 minus 18 over 2. 3 times the 9 is 27 over 4 minus 18 over 2. Notice the denominators are not the same. So multiply top and bottom by 2. So you get 27 over 4 minus 36 over 4. The reason I did that is so that I could see common denominators. And then you're going to do -27 minus your 36. Your 27 times 36 gives us -9. So we have -9 over 4. That is our y component. So the vertex in this instance is going to be 3/2, -9 over 4. Okay, sample 3 is sketching a parabola. So parent function, we normally look parabolas as y equals x squared. So what happens when you have y equals x squared plus 6x plus 8? So first thing, we want to rewrite this into vertex form. So we have y minus the 8 plus a blank equals x squared plus 6x plus a blank. We're completing the square. Divide 6 by 2 and you get 3, which we square. So we get a 9 and a 9. So we become y plus 1 equals x plus a 3 squared, and then bring the 1 over. So y is equal to x plus 3 squared minus 1. Okay, so our vertex happens to be here at -3, -1. Okay, but we're looking at the parent function. So when we have the parent function of y equals x squared, I do a t-table. Think of -1, 0, 1, because those are the easiest ones to use. So -1 squared is +1, 0, 0, and 1 is 1. So we are going to plot these ordered points for our parabola. On a grid. So we have a point at -1, 1, 0, 0, and 1. So this is our parent function. That's just plain y equals x squared. So now let's look at our parabola. It's saying we are shifting 3 units to the left and then 1 unit down. So each of our points are going to go left. 1, 2, 3, down 1. 1, 2, 3, down 1. 1, 2, 3, down 1. And we have changed the location of our parabola with now y equals x squared plus 6x plus 8 is located at. In example 4, they want us to write an equation of a parabola. Given the parabola has a vertex hk of -2, 1 and a y-intercept of 0, -3. So first thing, write down the standard formula. It says y equals a times x minus h squared plus k to give us a starting basis. They gave us the h and the k. They gave us a y-intercept. The thing they did not give us is the a component. So we need to find a first. So we know here's x and y. So we're going to write -3 equals a. We do not know. X is 0 because it's 0. It says our h value is -2. So negative and negative, negative of a -2 squared plus k value. So we have -3 equals a times 0 minus a minus means +2 squared plus 1. So -3 equals a times 4 plus 1. Subtract the 1 over. So we get -4 equals a times 4. Divide both sides by 4. So -1 is the a value. So now that I know the a, and we are given the hk, we're going to write our equation. So we have y equals a times x minus h squared plus k is our formula. We are leaving y as is. A is now -1. X stays as is. Minus a -2 squared plus our 1. So finalize by saying y is equal to -1 parentheses x plus 2 squared plus 1. Here's our standard form in Vertex. And example 5 says writing a equation of a parabola. The parabola with vertex of hk is given to us, 3 of -4, and it passes through a point 5, -2. It did not pass through the y-intercept, so they gave us a point. So again, we're going to use the basic formula again, y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. They did not give us the a, they gave us a point. So our x is going to be a 5, the y is going to be a -2, h is a 3, k is a -4. We're substituting in. So we get -2 equals a times 5 minus 3 squared plus a -4. So we get -2 equals a times 5 minus 3 is 2 squared minus 4. So this plus minus, move the 4 over, so you have to add it. So now we see +2 equals a times 2 squared, which is a 4. Divide both sides by 4. So 1/2 equals the a component. So all we need is the a in our hk to write our formula. So remember, y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Replace a, h, and k. So we have y equals 1/2 times x, h is 3, so -3 squared minus a 4. Properties of quadratic functions. So we have two parabolas here. F of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where the a value is greater than 0. And a of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where the a value is less than 0. So notice the difference between the two parabolas. The first one is a bowl of soup. So it has a decreasing portion that hits a minimum value, and then it does an increasing portion. The second one looks like a rainbow. has an increasing portion to hit its peak, the maximum, and then does a decreasing situation. Notice that both parabolas, their domains, are all real numbers, so the x values run from negative infinity to positive infinity. The bowl of soup, the parabola opening up, the y value, the range, all the y values are greater than or equal to k value, so it's k going to infinity. The range on the second one, the parabola opening down, which is your rainbow, the y values are less than or equal to k, where it goes from negative infinity to k. Again, notice that the first one, the parabola, which is a bowl of soup, is decreasing to the point of the vertex and then increasing. The rainbow one is increasing to the point of the vertex and then decreasing. So we're going to use this information to analyze an example based on this given equation without having to graph it. So it says to describe the range of the f of x equal to negative 1/2 x squared plus 4x minus 1, then determine where the function is increasing or decreasing. So first thing, they gave you an equation. So they're saying f of x equals negative 1/2 x squared plus 4x minus 1. Remember, it's in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. The a value happens to be negative 1/2. That's an indication for you. So first thing we have it, a parabola opening downward. So we have it doing this as a rough sketch. So now we know we have an increasing situation first, then a decreasing situation. So to find out where it's increasing to and where it's decreasing from, you need to find the vertex. So the vertex form said negative b over 2a. So we have negative of 4 over 2 times negative 1/2. It's negative 4 over half of 2, which is negative 1, makes it positive 4. So I know the x value is 4, and I find the y value. So the f of 4 is what we're looking for. Negative 1/2 of 4 squared plus 4 times 4 minus 1. So it's negative 1/2 of 4 squared, which is 16. 4 times 4 is your 16 minus 1. Negative half of 16 is negative 8 plus 16 minus 1, and we get 7. So the vertex is at 4, 7. So what does that mean? It means that our range is from negative infinity up to 7, because I'm going from the low end up to 7 on the y-axis. The domain we know is negative infinity to positive infinity. And the last part is increasing to the left of x equal to 4 and decreasing to the right of x equal to 4. So it's going up, approaching the x at 4, and then dropping down after the 4 to the right of it. Example 7, the bridge says each cable of a bridge is suspended in the shape of a parabola between two towers that are 1,280 meters apart. The top of each tower is 152 meters above the roadway. The cables touch the roadway at the midpoint between the towers. Write an equation that models the cables of the bridge. So on this example, first thing we notice, they gave you a picture of the graph. The vertex is at 0, 0. So if we have our general equation of y equals a times x minus h squared plus k, we know that our vertex is at 0, so we have y equals a times x minus 0 squared plus 0. So you get y equals a, x minus 0 is 0 is x squared, so I just get x squared. So this is our general formula. First thing I need to do to find out my equation is find out what the a value is. So you have two ordered points at the top of your graph. I am going to use the two positive numbers to find the a value. So we're going to write 152 equals a, which we don't know, times 640 squared. Divide both sides by 640 squared. So you need to do 640 and square it. So we have 152 over 409,600 equals a, which can be reduced. They're factors of the number 8. So you're dividing both numbers by 8. So the a value is 19 over 51,200. So our general equation right now is y equals 19 over 51,200 x squared.